Hey, Pushnet, new video. So, first of the series of self-reliance medicine. Woohoo! I'm very happy for that one, actually. I want to say hi to all the new people. So, new people, meet the Pushnet, meet the new people. We're not that many more, but there's a few people, and it looks like they're very keen to learn. I have a few message and stuff. So that was the point of this project. So the first few videos, and this one will be part of that. Will be a little bit dry, but just like as you build a house, you need to build a good foundation, then build the house, and all the funky decoration comes towards the end. And this is how I would like. Cause don't forget that this collapse slash self reliance medicine doesn't really exist right now. Like there's no yeah, you cannot really go to school and say, "Oh, I'm gonna learn that stuff." So it's more like just exactly like I'm trying to do. A bunch of people have experience either as doctors, nurses, or something, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna be teaching about stuff like that." And um, So, like I was saying, there's no really expert. I keep saying that in my video, and it's true. I mean, there's no really expert on. Oh, I had like 10 collapse on whatever on me and stuff, and so everybody is kind of their own opinions or true their own opinions through their own experience as well. So what I'm trying to do here, and that's why I want to start with this as a video is that I want to people to understand there's a lot of that stuff that I'm going to talk about. Yes, I do have some knowledge in in it, and I have really, like I said, I was so excited about this. It's actually you following me through my journey, and actually me asking you your views on my journey because it's truly a journey that I'm going to take of trying to get better at that stuff, trying to make my own kind of thing because I didn't like what I found outside. And truly, like this little Frenchie head that's been going on like crazy, and I found some good stuff, and that's why I'll be discussing a little bit today and stuff. And I got books coming in, and course that will sign in, and things I'll be able to do online and everything, and I'm super pumped about that. And actually. Some of the books that I order that I'll be reading and things like that, I'll be giving them as giveaways because my I have to, as you can see here, I got way too many books, and when I move, it gets too heavy. And the reason I ordered those books is to get the knowledge. So once the knowledge is there and stuff, I'll be giving away those knowledge so that people can share that knowledge with other people. So based on that, we're going to start. The other thing too, I want to be sure. We'll start. Actually, we'll start with that right now. Everything we'll be talking in this series, and each series, every time I'll do a video, because this time I won't talk so much about medicine, so I won't put it. But every time I'll put a notice as a reminder that um, even if we discuss about something, even if we do it and stuff, don't forget that there's laws out there, and so not because you've been trained to do something, that means that you can do it. Meaning, for example, and I mentioned that in the past, when I fly, I am allowed to intubate someone because I work under the license of a doctor. So the doctor, because in that context and with the training, says, I'm giving you permission under my license to do this action. And those works with protocols, and those people in the paramedicine, so paramedics, EMTs, works under the same thing, and they're called medical directors. So So the doctor, under that, give you the right to do something. Outside that, unless I'm not in work, I get in a car accident, even if I carry the gear, even if I carry the knowledge, if I do the same action that I would do outside my work, on outside this medical direction, it's not the same. If I do this, I could be pursued under in court, and they could win. Even if I have the knowledge, and even if I train for it, and even if I have the proper equipment, I can be sued and processed and lose in court, because outside anything in this hospitalization, a hospital, workplace, and things like that, the only thing that directs it is what they call the Good Samaritan law, which is mostly North American. That's what we have, and in Quebec is a little bit different than the rest in Canada. But other, and I think some states in this in the states in USA as well has some tweak to it, but mainly what it says is that do not more harm to anyone and due to the maximum of your knowledge. But it is a tricky sentence when you read that, because again, obviously my knowledge, for example, I can intubate someone, but I can never go to there. So usually the maximum of knowledge that you can apply to is a very advanced first aid. Even starting intravenous and stuff, you're starting to get into. So that's what, and most of the time, when I talk about what kind of training you should get, EMT is the one that I recommend for two things. Is that compare, unless you want to go back to school and do all like your because even paramedic, I think most programs are like 2 years, 2 3 years, and then nursing is about 4 years. Doctors, depending of your specialty, is about 10 years. So this is, unless you want to go this way, EMT is pretty much the closest that you can go to that thing. And in the setup that we're talking about too, this is what it's going to be the best knowledge that you can use to apply it, because it's what we call BLS, and it's at the marge of BLS ALS. So BLS is for basic life support, ALS is advanced life support. So EMT is pretty much about the maximum, and you're starting to talk about airways, you're talking about bagging, so when you push the bag and things like that, and intravenous starting, and C-spine. So it's and some medication depending of again on the system that you do, but usually you already train because you're going to work with a paramedic, so you're going to work with an ALS crew, and so they give you a basic knowledge of some medications and stuff, and medication that, you know, for example, nitro aspirins and things that you can start using, epinephrine, and some stuff that you can start using almost on your own as well. So that's why I always talk about EMT. So this is a part that I really want to make sure that everybody understand, is that what we're going to talk about here is discussion. And even there's some stuff, especially as we're going to go, again, this medicine do not exist. Like there's no school for that. We're kind of making it as it goes. We're creating something. We're creators. You're all creators, but this that's what I mean. And even for example, if you do disaster medicine, even if it do exist, unless you have a doctor's license, doctors can do whatever they want. So if a doctor gets on a car accident, so let's say we get the same scene call, and the doctor goes over there, he has his own license that he can do whatever he want, whenever he wants. So that's why, for example, in when they on side of Everest or whatever, they're doctors over there because they're their own license, so they can take their own responsibility. They're paying their own insurance and things like that. And even through hospitals, I'm paid towards hospital as I'm an employee of the hospital when I work at the hospital. Doctors are contractors of the hospitals. They're not really they're paid by the hospital, but as contractors because they're self-independent workers. So they're really a different categories of what they do. So you have to understand this, because when somebody, for example, say, "Oh, you can suture someone," yes, they can, because they're allowed to do it. They can prescribe whatever they want when they want, almost, and they can suture people if they want to. But if you do the same thing that you saw a video on how to suture, or you do something like this, it's quite different. So the law is there, and actually I'll put a link. I did it in the past videos, but this time again, because of the new series, I'll put a link. And so it's called a Good Samaritan Act, and it's usually that's the one that covers. And again, in the States, some of the states are different, and in Canada, pretty much Quebec is the only. Quebec is different on many things, but one of the things, for example, in Quebec, depending of the cemetery law, is that, for example, if you pass in front of a car accident, if somebody see that you continue, so this is in Quebec, so if you continue passing the car accident and you didn't do anything, like you didn't even stop or do anything and stuff, and left somebody there, and they take your plate or something, you could be brought in court and find guilty of not assisting. So in Quebec, it is mandatory to bring assistance. Here, you can do it if you want, but it's not mandatory. So unless it's in danger to yourself, so for example, if somebody is in a burning house, you're not pushed to do more than for your own safety. But if you have to do something, so even calling 911 is an act of doing what it is. So I see this video is going a little bit. I wanted to make sure that you understand. And again, those I probably going to be like 2 or 3 series on that one, because I really want to understand, make sure that when we start on stuff, we start on strong foundation. So there will be dry at first, but the interesting stuff will be coming, and I promise on that one and stuff. So we'll stop with this one, and we'll go and do part 2. But this one, what I really want to make sure is people understand that whatever we're going to be talking about in this series, there's limitation of what you can do based on your knowledge, and not because you have the knowledge that you can do it. There's a lot in between that and stuff, and we'll make a difference. Actually, let's make it now, because we'll make, and I'll put that in the title, ethics. So law and ethics are 2 different things, and this is where you'll have to take your own decision. So the law is clear. It's black and white. You're this or this. There's no in the middle. So, for example, let's say somebody steals. He's a thief. He steals just for the fun of it. A father wants to feed his family. He steals. He's in front of the law. He's still a thief. I mean, he stole and stole. But ethically, we could say that, well, maybe the father has maybe more reason to do it than the other person. So on the ethics side, it's quite different. There's more shade of grays than anything like this. Why do I bring this in? It's because in what we're going to be talking about, when everything kind of falls down and everything, stuff like this, yes, the law will still be applying, the concepts will be still applying, but you'll be faced with ethics. You'll be faced with decisions that will be hard, and that's the next video that I will be doing, and we'll be talking about that one and why I want to apply, and that's why I don't quite understand a lot of time why a lot of people talk about collapse don't talk about this thing, because it's really important. So even if the law is there, that means you cannot do things, or things you cannot do, face in certain situation, your ethics will kick in. And your ethics based on your opinions, your religion, your beliefs. And also to try, like, what's the good versus the bad and everything. And so on that level, we'll talk a little bit more about ethics, mostly ethics and disasters. But I wanted to bring these 2 points on them. And so I'll see you on the part 2 of this video.